Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is the series that's actually about family. Sorry, Dom, but we don't need a six-pack of Corona for this one. This holiday special not only brings holiday cheer, but also deepens our understanding of the franchise's main characters. Not to mention, Star-Lord has a big revelation. We'll have to give away the juicy details about the special to talk about the revelation, so beware of spoilers. Here's everything we know. First off, what's the big reveal? Underneath his funny personality, Chris Pratt's Star-Lord is a really gloomy character. He was brought up by space pirates after he lost his mother to cancer when he was just a little boy. Soon after he reunited with his long-lost father, he learned that Ego was a celestial who was out to recreate the cosmos in his own image. The only family Star-Lord that's left is the one he created for himself. The revelation was Peter finding out he has a sister who's been hiding in plain sight the entire time, a lot like Luke Skywalker. Although Mantis being Ego's kid isn't what the comics say, it fills in some of the blanks in her MCU backstory. It describes how she became Ego's slave and the reason he felt obligated to not let her leave him. Mantis wasn't quite the ideal kid Ego had been searching for all these years, but we can also assume that she was strong enough that he didn't just want to murder her like all his other offspring. How much of this narrative will be included in Guardians Volume 3 is yet to be seen, but whatever happens after that, it's good to know that two of our favorite Guardians have a reason to be grateful this Christmas. This has probably had a huge influence on Star-Lord's character because with Gamora, Yondu, and Ego gone, he finally has a family member around him to keep him sane. The fact that Mantis had to see her father kill every sibling he had brought to the planet before Star-Lord also explains why she was so scared of Ego. Next up, where's Gamora? The special begins by catching up with the Guardians since we last saw them in Thor: Love and Thunder from last summer. The squad is still missing Gamora, who passed away in Avengers Infinity War until an alternate timeline version of her appeared in Avengers Endgame. That implies that she has no recollections of her time spent with the team or of her growing bond with Peter Quill. In the holiday special, Mantis and Drax set out on a holiday-themed journey to cheer up Quill, who's somewhat depressed about it. From what we can tell, the only reason she probably didn't make an appearance is so she can return to the Guardians and play a major role in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Moving on, the Guardians took over Nowhere. The space station Nowhere was initially presented to MCU fans in the first Guardians of the Galaxy blockbuster. This severed celestial head has evolved into a significant cosmic hub that at one time stored the Collector's huge collection. But Nowhere has obviously seen better days thanks to Thanos' invasion in Avengers Infinity War. The holiday special illuminates two crucial aspects of Nowhere in the post-blip world. One, it has now been established that the Collector is still alive and that Thanos did not murder him. Second, rather than attempting to rebuild his cherished collection room, it seems like Tiven sold Nowhere to the Guardians. Nobody knows how the Guardians managed to afford such a huge real estate investment, but maybe saving the galaxy 3 times is good for your bank account. Where do we sign up? We can absolutely expect to see Nowhere in the upcoming movie, which probably also means seeing Cosmo in a lot more scenes. Most people were happy with Cosmos' introduction in the special. Who doesn't love a good boy who can talk? Or, in this instance, good girl, since Maria Bakalova returns the voice for the lovable Russian space canine in the MCU. Not only can Cosmo talk, but she's also psychic. Talk about a full package. We're all super grateful that the holiday special finally brings her on board. Expect to see a lot more Cosmo because Bakalova has already been confirmed for Volume 3. Let's talk about Nebula's gift to Rocket. The Guardians exchange Christmas gifts with one another in a sweet moment. In an unexpected turn of events, Nebula gives Rocket Bucky's metal arm, which MCU fans already know Rocket has had his eye on since Avengers Infinity War, while Peter gives Groot a new Game Boy after taking the last one away for being petty in the last movie. The Guardians of the Galaxy special received the most tweets in response to Nebula's gift to Rocket, since it meant that she had gone to Earth and beaten up Bucky to get his metal arm for Rocket. James Gunn verified this on Twitter when Nebula hunted him and snatched his prosthetic arm. The most critical piece of this is that the Guardians have clearly returned to Earth since the Battle of Earth, which also implies that they have every right to visit Earth again in the future. Since Bucky will need a new arm, this should have an impact on his next appearance in Thunderbolts, and boy are we excited. Now for grown-up Groot. Of all the MCU characters, Groot has probably experienced the most physical changes in the past 14 years. He appeared as a fully grown adult in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie before being reborn as a sapling transformed into Baby Groot and eventually becoming a cranky teenager that got his Game Boy taken from him. The holiday special shows Groot getting closer to his full adult form. Does this mean that Groot will return in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 as an adult? That's what it seems like so far. We'll need to wait to see if he picks up any new skills along the way. It's possible that Groot could start speaking in complete understandable sentences at some point, somewhat like the comic book counterpart. One thing is for sure though, Groot's voice has grown to sound almost exactly like the original, despite his body going through a growth spurt and his face still being on the younger side. Since Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will take place after the special, we can assume that Groot will be fully grown by the time the next movie comes out, unless Marvel Studios has other plans. Moving on, we might get to see GoBots in the MCU. It seems like Drax still has a lot of grudges against the family members that were killed. We now know that Drax's cousin was killed by a GoBot, in addition to the fact that Thanos killed Drax's wife and child. This is a totally random narrative detail that might have big implications for the MCU. These Transformers-like extraterrestrial robots could actually exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe based on Drax's violent encounter with the cosplayer wearing the GoBot suit. Considering that the GoBots don't even exist in the Marvel comic book universe, that's a surprising turn of events to say the least. Fun fact, Marvel used to publish Transformers comics, but they never had the GoBots license. But then again, they weren't licensed to have Spider-Man included in the MCU, but they made it work, so who knows? James Gunn could just be playing tribute to a favorite 80s franchise with this surprise, but we can't help but question whether there's anything more going on. Is this a sneak peek at a bigger Marvel and Hasbro partnership? Will Hasbro instead look to Marvel to help in light of the difficulties they've had creating a cinematic universe around their toy properties? We don't know yet, but we can only hope that the GoBots and Rom the Space Knight make a surprise entrance in one of the MCU's next phases, because there's a lot more to come. Last but not least, we finally find out how Peter got his blasters. At first, everyone thought Yondu had spoiled Peter's Christmas because that's what Kraglin told everybody, but Kraglin, being Kraglin, he was wrong. In his defense, Kraglin watched Yondu tear down the Christmas tree and told Peter that they shouldn't be celebrating human holidays. But Kraglin couldn't be more wrong, because later on in the special we learn that after Peter's adoptive father unwrapped the gift that he got for him, Yondu eventually changed his mind about the human holiday. In return, Yondu gifted Star-Lord the iconic quad blasters. Yondu is one of the few Guardians of the Galaxy members who have passed away, but he still made an appearance in the animated flashback scene that was set during Star-Lord's time as a kid. Yondu's reappearance finally explained where the blasters that have been used since the first movie came from. This also explains why Peter is so attached to the blasters. It's because they are a daily reminder of the father-son bond he had with Yondu. The Guardians of the Galaxy is probably one of the best holiday specials we've ever gotten, and it was the perfect ending to the MCU's Phase 4 after Wakanda Forever. Which of the reveals from the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Well, that's it for today. If you liked the video, please leave a like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more awesome content just like this.